What the fuck is you doing, bro?
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? You are tuned in to the Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 147. This is the Chiefs and Vikings recap. We're also going to preview the Broncos game since it's on Thursday. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out too. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday afternoon. We're going to get into it. Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chiefs Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Quick style. Out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
Welcome back, Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 147. Just hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. What's going on, Clarence? You're on mute, Clarence.
What's happening, man? I'm outside working, dog.
What's going on, man? There's something different with you, man.
Yeah, I had to hit y'all with a curveball, dog. You know what I'm saying? Checking, you want to check it. You see some waves up in there too, You know what I mean? Us with hair have to be innovative. You feel me?
We got blonde hair Clarence.
Facts.
Uh-oh. Y'all messed up. Joe, I hope you're watching.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Joe,
you
I
did.
hope you're watching because he on your helmet. Yeah.
Hey, he better not say a word.
Joe,
he better not say a
Joe,
word.
You in here, Joe?
He better be mush mouth like the what's homie was on that cartoon Fat Albert. He better be much mouth. Just go on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Look at Joe.
Joe better not say nothing, dog. Absolutely nothing.
You ain't got
better
nothing
be
for
much
me, Joe?
mouth. Nah, he ain't got nothing, dog.
I know.
He ain't got nothing to say. Nah.
Well, let's go ahead.
It's gonna be red in a minute, though. Don't trip.
For sure. Mark should be following in here in a minute.
That's what's up.
Let's go ahead and say, looking good, Clay.
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, Joe.
The Golden Lords. Meteor Man. Meteor Man reference.
Golden Lords.
Only on Arrowhead Chief Podcast where you get a Meteor Man reference.
Real.
All right, man. Let's talk about it, man.
Let's get into it.
Chiefs win 27-20. It was a tale of two halves, I would say. First half was a little rough. Well, it started off good, and then it got rough a little bit in the second quarter on the offensive side. Defense, I would say the linebackers and secondary played pretty good. The defensive line, they didn't give much of a pass rush, which was surprising because we talked about it last Saturday, Friday night, but we talked about it on the Saturday episode that we expected the pass rush to have a good day, especially with this offensive line not being that good. And Kirk Cousins is a statue, so we figured our defensive line was going to give them some problems, but it didn't happen that way. But luckily, we have a great secondary with L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, and they balled out, man. They held Justin Jefferson to 2 catches and 28 yards. And I know he got hurt in the fourth quarter, but up until that time, he was. Yeah, I saw that. They got to fix that. We'll get into that turf in a minute. But yeah. They held him to 2 catches for 28 yards. He was pretty much a non-factor in this game. L'Jarius Sneed was doing a number on him. Then when they tossed him off to Trent was on lock and key on him. They did a really good job on T.J. Hawkinson between Tranquil and Justin Reed. They did a pretty good job. They didn't let T.J. Hawkinson just go off. He had a
Yeah.
few catches, and that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? They're professional
Yeah.
football players, but he didn't go off. I'm fine with Jordan Addison getting his. If that's the
Yeah.
way they had to beat us, it was going to have
Yeah.
to be with Jordan Addison, and I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Yeah.
want Justin Jefferson to go off. You don't want T.J.
Right.
Hawkinson to go off.
Right.
So,
Right.
and they did a good job of that. So
Yep.
the defense, they held their own. You know what I'm saying, against this explosion on this team. Now we had a scare going into halftime. Travis
Hey man,
Kelce catches the
listen,
ball, and that turf
listen,
pulled up on his ankle.
listen,
Everybody thought it was the
listen.
worst. That Achilles or the
Man,
ACL was
yeah,
on the
yeah,
line.
yeah. Because you fall like that, you just like, hello, dog. You know what I'm saying? The way he, like when he was sitting on the sideline, like he made it seem like he knew something was like extremely
Right.
bad. You know what I'm
And when he
saying? I'm
threw
like,
his
dog,
helmet,
come on, dog. Yeah, I'm like, come on, dog. Say it ain't so.
yeah,
Say it
man,
ain't so. You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
think
Like
the,
that was a messed up moment, bro.
the Chiefs' season flashed before our eyes,
For real,
and
for real, for real, for real,
you
for
can
real,
hear
for
it.
real.
Shout out to D-Mac and Jody and all them. They did the spaces. Everybody in the spaces was going crazy, man. But luckily, he comes
Yeah,
jogging out at the halftime, and he was itching to get back in there, but they held him back. But that first drive coming out, it forced Pat to have to trust these receivers, man. And
yep,
what better way
yep,
in 3rd and 18? He throws
yep,
a pretty much a prayer up, and just
yep,
like J Watt, go get it. And
yep,
thank God for Justin Watson. He jumped
yep,
up and he went up and
yep,
got it for once in his NFL career. He fought for the football.
yeah.
But I'm not here to diss him. He made a great catch. Yeah, he made 2 great catches in this game. The one on the sideline was a great catch too. But he made
Hmm.
a great catch, and it sparked that momentum of that drive.
So, so
Um,
let me ask you this, Chris. Let me ask you
mhm.
this real quick.
Go ahead.
And this is kind of a pivot, but let me ask you, dog. Why do you think overall, over this past what's it been now, 5 games?
Yeah.
Why do you think this team doesn't score as many points against teams that you look at like a Minnesota with their record? Why do you think they only scored 27 points? What do you think? There has to be this trend that's happening in the league. Like what what is causing this? Because something is causing. It's a cause and effect, right?
Right.
So you want to run the football, you want to have production out of that running back room, but at the same time you're dealing with inexperience at the wide receiver position. But the routes that they're running are routes that they should be able to win on. So what is it? Is it that linebackers are faster? Is it DBs that are faster? Is it the front that's better? Like what are they seeing and what are they dealing with to be in these situations where you're relying on Travis with a bad ankle to get 10 catches for 67 yards to win a game? Do you see where
Um.
I'm going with this?
No,
Like what's
I hear.
is it a
I
trend? Is it a trend that they can't figure out that defenses are doing?
I think
Is it
I think
speed?
that I think they're in the midst of figuring it out. I think that they're trying to figure out who are the best guys that they can rely on. And right now, so far, it's been Justin Watson and Rasheed Rice.
And Rasheed.
Those have been
Yeah,
the two. Those are the two have been the most reliable receivers that Pat, when he needs a third and
yeah,
whatever, and he
yep,
can't find
yep,
Trav, he goes to
yep,
one of those two. You know,
yep,
he tries to
yep,
go to MVS, but MVS, his route tree is pretty
right.
much the fly route,
Yeah,
deep slants. You know what I'm
a
saying?
deep
Like
over,
deep
yep, a
over,
deep
yeah.
over route, yep. And he
So
can outrun somebody to another spot on the field. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's
and I
another
agree. I
minimal
agree.
route.
I agree with you, country. Like even and we see it in posts from different people who watch film. We've seen times where Pat has a guy wide open and he doesn't pull the trigger. Like I don't know if he's just like not trusting what he's seeing. I don't know if he's not
Right.
trusting the receiver to catch the ball. Like
Yeah.
I don't know that part. It's not all on the receivers. I think some of it has to lay at the feet of Patrick Mahomes too. Like this is the first time where he doesn't have a true veteran reliable receiver. Like say what you want about Juju.
Hmm.
Juju was very reliable. Before that, of course, you had Tyreek Hill, you had Sammy Watkins. Like you had even say what you want about the DeMarcus Robinsons and all them. He trusts those guys.
Yeah, for real, for real.
He built a rapport with those guys. Say what you want. Yeah, DeMarcus Robinson ran backwards, but in a pinch, if he needed to, he'll throw it to DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
So it's just,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he had a little bit more trust in those guys. It's like Brandon Lane, Pat for anything, but it's true. No, you definitely can blame Patrick Mahomes, and especially this season. And sometimes I think Patrick, he can get a little loose with his throwing motion, and you can do those trick type throws and them sidearms to Travis Kelce, and that you could do that to him, but you might not be able to do that with Justin Watson and Rashee Rice. Not yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not ready for those passes yet. And sometimes Pat will throw it in there, and sometimes I think if he just threw it regular, just throw it a regular pass, it probably would have got in there, So it's I butchered that spelling. It's all good. It's all good. I know what you meant.
It's all good, brother.
This ain't no spelling bee over here, player. But no,
you ain't never lied. You damn right. And we can't say names correct either.
Yeah, we can't do that. With names. But I think the blame goes all around. What's going on, Mark?
Sound like I came in at the right time. I guess you're talking about is it on the receivers or is it on Pat? And sometimes it's actually a combination of both. Because sometimes I think there have been a couple instances where you actually have. It's almost like that that greed play. Like you want to take the I don't know. It's like sometimes I think like you'll see like the little short dump off would be something that's just simple, like right, like it'll be like over the middle. It could be a tight end or it could be one of the receivers. It could be something like that. But like you said, sometimes that hesitation, sometimes history can come back and bite you in the butt, because Aaron Rodgers was kind of the same way in critical moments. That was the worst part about it. And then if he got away from you, he didn't throw it to you again. Simple as that. So I just think you got to get back to that. Just trust your receivers. It is what it is. But the funny part about it is, though, about the whole situation is that, regardless, say what you want about drops and whatever. I think, who was it? Ross. He had 4 targets, and I think 2 of them that were dropped. I mean, it tells me it's like he still believes in the kid as far as like with talent-wise, and there's something there. It's something there that he believes that he trusts to continue to throw to him despite the drops and whatever. But he's got to look at the same way for all the other receivers too. Just take what you can get. Take for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I felt that interesting in that drive that, Ross comes in and he's going right to Ross. You know what I'm saying? And still, he's building his rapport with Rashee Rice. Of course, like I said, he trusts Jay Watt. I think he trusts MVS for certain routes. I don't think he trusts him all the way, because there are some times when MVS is open and Pat may not throw it to him, but I think he trusts him like on deep overs and like the fly routes. I think he trusts him on that. Go ahead.
They haven't gotten on the same page yet, and here's the proof. Yeah. There was one play where I think they were like in the red zone, and Pat had scrambled outside, bought enough time. I thought he was in trouble, and then of course, he did that little quick dip out, just whoop right outside. And MVS, if he would have kept going, Pat probably would have seen him in the back of the end zone, but because he stopped. I'm not sure what quarter it was. That's a prime example of them. They got to get back on the same page or get on the same page, because that could have been an easy 6 right then and there. I think they had to settle for 3 in that situation.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I remember that play. They both, because Pat kind of overthrew him.
Like, yeah, he threw a dart in the back of the end zone. I'm like, geez, I was like, that was a little hard.
Yeah. But hopefully, and Country had a really, really good question.
What do you say? I can't read it.
This may sound cocky, or are we using these games as a glorified practice for the wide receivers? They are working on the clock to figure out their.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no, because we know how Andy Reid works.
I would definitely not call the Jets game as far as a glorified practice, because as far as like
that was just going against a great defense.
That defense is the real deal.
Absolutely.
That was just going against a great defense.
Absolutely.
Who just if we
CJ
talking
Mosley
talent,
is a leader,
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that game. I wouldn't say it's a glorified practice. I would more so just say that these guys they are working them in and they are trying to figure out who's going to make certain plays in certain times and what rotation works. That's why they're just rotating everybody in. Um, but I wouldn't say it's a practice. Like they putting a good stuff in there. Like so we'll see though. We'll see. No, I agree. These next four, including Minnesota, I do agree that these are the games where they're going to start really working this rotation in. Like by the time we get to Miami, we will have a set rotation. I think.
Mm-hmm.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, I think by the time we get to Germany, we will have a set rotation on who's the guys that who are getting all the minutes, who Pat trusts, and I think by that Miami game we will know who are
These are
our who are our reliable receivers.
these are division games. There ain't no
Of
exception to
course, it's in
that.
Wisconsin, right?
They got to. I mean, I don't care how bad they suck or whatever, because the Chargers are always that team that hangs around to the end. And then the Broncos are like the last maybe 2-3 games. They've been in them a lot closer than what it should have been. So they definitely can't take that off. And despite how bad we think a team is or how bad they suck and whatever, and them coming off the
Yeah,
Jets and them
I will
being
agree with
embarrassed.
that.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. I think the defense is ahead of the offense right now, and when you got
Mm-hmm.
a defense that's playing the way it is, and we're getting reinforcements back with Nick Bolton coming back, Charles Omenihu's coming next week. This defense could be formidable, and like Joe said, that defense can keep us in games, even with our struggles. Yeah, they've been doing that. They've been keeping us in games. So
They show me basically without those pieces they can be a top 5 defense.
yeah,
That's
of
very that's
course.
very that's very obtainable. I mean, for the fact that they held this team basically to 20, it's like they've been keeping teams around there like 15, 20 points and everything. They're doing everything you could possibly ask for. It's just a matter of waiting. Top 3,
By the end of the year, I think so.
yeah,
By the
they ain't
end of the
bad.
year, I could see it. Especially with all of if everybody's healthy and they're all playing on one side, I could see it. Top 3 at the very least.
I'm sure I'm trying to think going down the list right now because you got the 49er defense,
Yeah.
uh
Eagles.
Eagles defense. It's gonna be close.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I say top 5. It's gonna be
Ravens
a tough one.
defense is actually up there too. They're number one right now. Steelers
Well,
defense is up there.
I can. It's hard. I mean, Ravens. That's just a staple of who they are. But it's just so
Right.
unfortunate though they're throwing away a good defense. It don't make no sense. Now, maybe it's the division. Maybe it's just who they playing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
For
can't
sure.
figure them out.
He said San Francisco, Philly, then us. I'm not mad at that. I could see that by the end of the year. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now we're definitely top 10.
Yeah,
I
they
could,
definitely
ar-
top 10.
I could argue maybe top 5, maybe. We right there. I think we're like
Yeah,
6 or 7.
I don't
We
know.
could be
I
6
might.
or 7.
I
We
think
might
they
be
on the
5.
front. They might be 5 as far
We
as they
might be
just kind of
5.
like looking
Yeah.
at how a lot of the games played out and consistency. The defense has been consistent. I will say that.
Very much so. Very much so. And we was just talking about. I was before you came on. I was recapping the game a little bit. Giving love to Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed and the work that
Yeah.
they did on Jettas, man. Justin Jefferson, he only had 2 catches for 28 yards. Yeah, he got hurt in the fourth quarter, but up until that
Mm-hmm.
time, it wasn't like he was doing anything. Like it'd be one thing if he had like 5 catches for 70 yards or something like that, but he wasn't even that. He was a non-factor, and even T.J. Hawkinson, he really didn't.
Yep. That was about.
He made a few he made a few catches, but he wasn't a big impact in the game. They had to go to
It,
Addison and Osborne.
I couldn't be mad at Addison at all in that situation. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
Addison showed his value and why he was picked where he was, and I
Mhm.
mean, I thought they did a good job as far as testing him, like making him have to be the guy to beat them. I think the defense did everything you could possibly ask them to do. Once again,
Mhm.
holding Jay Jettis, keeping them. I think he had under 30 yards, like 2 catches or something like that,
2
and
catches,
then
21 yards. Yep.
they kept Hawkinson on at least 2. So I cannot be mad about that. And then there's a team for their rushing. They only had 70 rushing yards. Can't be mad about it. It's just with the defense they had. The only thing I can say that probably stuck out for the defense where it kind of went south a little bit was that drive where they had like 4 penalties. It was a whole secondary because Snee got one because of a frustration, and then I think it was Cook. He had a foolish roughing penalty.
Yeah.
I think McDuffie got tapped for one. It was just a bad drive. That was probably the only complaint I had.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Ty. Unfortunately, I have to admit he was right. Clyde is the slowest running back in the league. For Clyde to be on the field, dog. Like, I love Clyde, but damn, dog. What do
he need to be in Clyde need to be in street clothes, hyping the team. He's hyping his teammates.
When something good happens, that's when Clyde won't come in. It's like, man, damn.
I was trying to
come in the game.
No, you break it up.
Just bad business. I ain't gonna talk about it because that's my thought.
I thought I was trying to justify it with like a change of pace, but I'm like, this ain't even a way for a change of pace neither. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not going to question it. It is what it is.
Hey, this my line. Yeah. Country was a big Clyde supporter. I was trying to support Clyde too, man. It's just you gotta call a spade a spade. If it, what's the saying of it? If it looked like a duck, if it quacked like a duck, it's a damn duck. So yeah, he's all bad. He's all bad. He slows the offense up. He takes the momentum out. Like Pacheco will have 3 great runs, and then they put Clyde in, and it's just like, nah.
It was the drive. It was the drive where Kelsey was out, basically. That just kind of like set the tone and said, you know what, this is proof that you really just need to flow what you got because all the receivers got involved. That was a great thing to see on that drive. And then you saw incorporate balance, of course, of bringing Pacheco and everything. That was probably the best drive that I had seen all year. The one where Kelsey was out initially. It was early in that, I think it was coming out the half. Mm-hmm. That was one of the best drives I've seen him put together all year long.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about the Travis Kelce injury and how everybody was on pins and needles, and we thought the worst. We thought,
Oh no! I saw that. All you saw was a roll right out the gate, but at the same time, I'm like, man, he could be out for at least a week on now because them ankle rolls is no joke. They ain't fun. Yeah. So I imagine
fix that field. You even got your own. You even got your own players hurt. Justin Jefferson on IR now because your field. Get that fixed, Minnesota. Do better.
They got one of the nicest new stadiums in the league too, didn't they?
Yeah, but that turf ain't.
They need to get rid of that. That turf, man. It's not good.
Damn. That's some raggedy ass turf.
It's just not.
You got that nice house and got that dirty ass carpet on the ground. Clean your damn house up, Minnesota. Y'all to be ashamed of yourself. Had somebody come up in there and y'all house look like shit. Sorry, bastards.
Right.
But as a league, they just need to get away from turf. Period, though. Dirty. Just as a league,
everybody been complaining about that fucking turf. Because everybody would rather play on grass, but apparently it's a lot cheaper to have turf than to have grass.
Yeah.
Tennessee had grass for years, and now they just went to field turf, and it looks horrible. I don't care for field turf, dog. I hate it.
There's no good that come out of it outside of maintenance. Outside of maintenance, that's probably the only thing. Yeah. But it's coming at the expense of
saving some money somewhere to pocket. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but it's hurting players. It's not good for the league. It's people, and you're more likely to get concussed on turf than because at least with some kind of the grass there's some kind of give. But turf, forget about it. You're likely to get ACL tears on these things. It's just not good.
You hit your head right on that turf. It's over.
And I got a rant in a minute.
Go.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
All right, I got a question for y'all, man. Is Father Time catching up with Travis Kelce? Be honest.
It's too early to say. I mean, he still put up. I mean, despite rolled ankles, freak accidents they happen. He's still the guy. He's still getting targeted. So he's
Mhm.
getting targeted like he's still one of the premier guys. Well, I mean, basically he
He
But
made a
is.
how
great
old
catch.
is
He made that
ain't he
great catch.
34?
Yeah, he
He's
just turned
34, right?
34. He just turned 34. Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
what you think? So what you think? How many years 1,000 yards and 1,000 yards and 1,000 yards? How many years have we seen that out of Travis?
Countless times, but
Maybe
eventually catches up with
maybe
you.
it's time to start preparing for life without 87.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they've been slowly doing that with Noah Gray, getting him involved too. I mean, typically,
But
I think,
Noah ain't. I don't think Noah gonna be the answer. I think after
Yeah.
Travis, it really needs to pivot to let's feature the wide receivers more because we're not gonna be able to replace that type of production from that tight end position. You're
Yeah.
but
not gonna
even
get another Travis. You're
No.
but
just
even
not.
even so though, I think they're kind of hoping as far as like when before Jody Fortson went out and everything, they're going to use some of his dynamics. I thought that kind of took the air out of the balloon in that position too. So I mean, you can only expect so much out of a Noah Gray, and they're kind of using him. I mean, Kelsey was a decoy, and the Noah Gray he's finding ways to get open. Seems like he's getting a lot more open this year than any other year. That's just what I've seen. But Fortson, he has that unique size where he's a tight end, but in actuality can be played as a wide out.
Shut
We
up,
just
dude.
had that. We just had that compliment. I mean, I would say when we were talking about it, possibly being this year as far as they're starting to prepare life without Kelsey. I think we were talking about that. Maybe it was last year or something like that, but it's a possibility.
I think that I think with them going with a youth movement with the receivers, I think they are trying to prepare for that. I think with
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna get it. We'll talk about Scott more in a minute, but Rasheed Rice,
Woo.
Justin Ross, um, I think those guys are somebody that they might be looking forward to. Progressively moving, and then possibly sometimes some. We'll see what they do in the off season next year and how they go forward from here, because this this wide receiver room will be highly evaluated by the time the season is over, and depending on how the season ends, um next off season will tell me a lot, you know how they move forward and what they feel about Travis Kelsey, because I know they said it on Kingdom Cast, instead of him being a 1,500-yard receiver, he may be 1,100-yard receiver this year. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Mm-hmm.
still good. That's still a productive tight
Yeah.
end. It's still over 1,000 yards, and you'll take that. But that might be the diminishing Travis Kelce. Not so much, oh, he's going to go from 1,300 yards to 700.
Five.
No, it's like he'll be like around 1,100, maybe 12 at the max, and that's fine. We'll take that. You know, but still, some of these young guys have to step up.
And that might be a training thing also dealing with
He's stupid.
right.
Tell you, boom.
Right. But I think even so that's gonna be a test for Pat Mahomes too. Because it's typically his number one go-to guy is to go to Kelsey. I mean, receivers they gotta find ways to get open. I mean, you're looking at some of the numbers from last weekend. As we expected, Rashee Rice, his targets were pretty much consistent. Kadarius Toney, his numbers is pretty much up there. As far as him being the one per se. But the surprise I thought was Ross though, as far as many targets he had gotten. I'm like, okay, like that's something kind of like to pay attention. Like as far as him being able to get more reps, and maybe we'll see that going on. And you kind of heard as far as what they was talking about as far as like his usage and how they plan on implementing him more. And I thought with Kelsey that getting hurt for that in that moment, I thought that was good preparation to be able to see that a little bit as far as like, what is that going to look like as far as without Kelsey, them distributing the ball. That's why I said what I said when that was the best drive that they've had all year long. Because one, they had to do it without Kelsey, and two, it forced Pat to be able to target other players and get them going, and that was critical. But the crazy part about it, like I think Chris, that was a good segue. I think you probably gonna drive right to the next point though.
But before I get to that, before I get to that, one thing Andy Reid said in the presser today, and I know you're supposed to take what Andy Reid says as a grain of salt because he don't tell everything. But I will say this for him saying that, when they asked about Justin Ross, that he said that the best way to get him, reps is to get him in the game, get him going. So that may sound like they might be revving him up a little bit more. So
but think about it. So Thursday night, you got a long break after this.
Mm-hmm.
So why not do what you've been doing that's been successful? Maybe without Travis, maybe with Travis. But do what you've been doing that's been successful. Get this dub and get it out, get it all out. Because you got so much time after this that you can actually evaluate everybody at that wide receiver spot and make the necessary changes before your next game. You have an abundance amount of time. So use the time, get out of this one with a dub. Whether Travis play or not,
I mean, it's a conversation that has to be had, country.
Yeah.
He ain't getting no younger. You got to start preparing for the future. You don't want to be too late in that. There's been teams have have said it. You've seen it. Teams have waited too long and held on to a player. They waited till he fell off a whole cliff. You know what I'm saying? How about we don't let Travis fall off a cliff and wait till we have life after we be prepared for it. If he does fall off a huge cliff, we have pieces around it that could, take over. You know,
having that bridge is important.
Maybe Travis walks away on his own. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I hear you. All right, fellas. I got a confession and I got a hot take. Which one y'all want to hear first?
Go ahead, Usher. I want you to be Usher first. These are my confessions. Go ahead.
I might be off the Sky Moore hype train.
You might be what?
Off the Sky Moore hype train.
Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah.
I had a feeling there was some of that.
Tell me something.
I know I hear all the arguments. He may not be getting targeted enough. He had 39 snaps. He had one of the most snaps. He had the most snaps out of most, other than Justin Watson, out of all the wide receivers.
Well, hold on, though. Hold on. And in his defense, Chris, this goes both ways. It's a two-way street.
I get it.
Hold on.
And this goes to my argument. Listen, this goes to my argument.
To find a role for Sky.
They do need to find a role with Sky. And it's not all on him why I'm off the hype train. It's not because of him mostly that I'm off the hype train. It's because of Patrick Mahomes. It's because Andy Reid. And it's because of Matt Nagy continuously doesn't put him in position to succeed. Personally.
I agree with that.
Some of it on him. Do I feel like that first play where he took it, he had a whole lot of open field, and I think he could have got a lot more yardage than what he got. But I'm not going to kill him on that. I'm not going to kill him on that.
Right.
He got 9 yards. I'm not going to kill him on that.
Right.
And there are some plays that I saw where he was wide open, and Pat looked right at him and did not throw him the ball. And that's part of my reason why I'm kind of jumping off the hype train, not all because of him, but because of what the Chiefs keep on showing us.
How he's being used.
Because Patrick Mahomes keeps showing me every time I see him open, Pat looks right at him and says, "Nah, I'm gonna go to this double coverage over
here." Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna run.
He really needs a defined role on this team. It has to be defined. And I think that's what a lot of them young dudes. You know what I'm saying? They so used to being the man in college, you got to define a role. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them.
It's not all on him. It's not all on Sky. It's not all on Sky. I get it. He got 2 targets. I get it. But I'm going off of what they're telling me. They don't trust him. They don't.
He Even Ross had 2 targets on the
Bro,
same drive.
They had a whole drive with no Travis Kelce. A whole drive. And he couldn't get no targets? Nothing?
I gotta go
Not
back
one.
and find that. I gotta go back and find that drive.
I mean, that is true.
A whole drive without Travis Kelce. And they go with a receiver that they barely play. A receiver that barely was getting snaps. Got more targets than him. He had 6 snaps. Justin Ross had 6 snaps and got more targets than Sky Moore.
He did. That's true. That's true.
This is not a full indictment on Sky Moore. Because it's not all on him. It's not his fault that they don't trust him. Because I think that I do think that he's could be a very good wide receiver. We see the potential in him. We've seen him in training camp. I don't think that stuff is a fluke. But until further notice, until they trust him more and help this kid succeed, I can't be on the hype train no more. I just can't.
But did he even get in? Did he even get in on that drive at all?
I'm sure he did. Justin Watson, I think MVS had the most snaps. Matter of fact, not even MVS. It was just Justin Watson and Sky who had the most snaps at wide receiver.
But even on that drive that I was talking about, that when they came out the half, wasn't even in on that drive at all?
I have no idea, because that is something you got to ask Matt Nagy and Andy Reid.
Because even just looking at it though, because even on that drive when they came out, with Kelce was still on the bench. He was still on the bench. Rice had at least 2 targets. MVS had a target. Ross had 2 targets. Justin Watson had a target.
He had the target.
because that was when he made that big play over.
He had the target to springboard that drive.
Yeah, I mean, Sky Moore is nowhere to be found even on that drive. That's kind of telling right there.
That's scary to me.
So
to me,
okay, so riddle me this. Okay, so Country just said that Sky Moore, why does he keep getting on the field? Is it because the expectation is, well, at some point he'll get this and he'll start winning on these routes? So I mean, they have to trust him to some degree. It's just
investment.
Pat's not seeing what he needs to see, right?
Yeah.
Pat has to be like, I'm not seeing what I need to see in order to get him the football. Like there's a huge disconnect on what Sky's supposed to be doing in these situations, because he's primarily lined up in the slot, right?
Yeah.
He's never lined up on the outside. So maybe it's a jerk route, maybe it's a whip, maybe it's a comeback. Like, who knows what the hell Sky really should be doing that he's not winning on? Like, it's just a field thing, like with Travis.
And I'm not comparing I'm not comparing Sky to McCole, because there are 2 different receivers. I already know that. Sky is a way more polished wide receiver coming out of college, and even right now, I think he's a way more polished wide receiver. He runs better routes than McCole Harmon. Period. Point blank.
Absolutely.
But we saw this kind of problem with Patrick Mahomes and McCole. They just could never, ever get on the same page. Never. Yeah, on those jet sweeps and stuff like that, he was effective. But when it came time to like throwing the ball down the field, like, I don't know what it was, but him and McCole was never on the same page.
I mean, so maybe after this game against Denver, it gives them time to evaluate, and maybe they change up that rotation.
Maybe, but
maybe Rasheed gets the bulk of the work.
This is not me saying I want the kid to succeed. I think,
absolutely,
like I said, I want to see Sky Moore succeed.
Absolutely, man.
I want to see the kid make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
for real.
I want that for him, especially where he was picked and who was picked before him. That's always. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna follow him. It's unfortunate because he didn't ask to be picked where he got picked.
Dog.
All right, chop it up. Thanks for coming through, brother. But yeah, he didn't ask to be picked after George Pickens. He
Right.
didn't, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's just like
Right.
Miko. He didn't ask to be picked before
Yep.
DK Metcalf. Like
Yep.
That's
he
just the
got
way the,
picked. What do you want him to
That's
do?
facts.
that's just the
That's
way
facts.
that's just the
You
way
want
the
him to
dice
call
roll.
DK and say, "Hey man, you want to switch?" Like, like no, it don't work like that. These guys don't get to pick where they go. They just got to go where they
No.
go and work
Yep.
hard and ball out. And
Make the
try to do
most out
their
of the
thing.
situation. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
hopefully it works out for him in the scheme of things. If it actually fits, it actually works. I mean, Clyde is in that situation where he thought the scheme might have worked out, but it looks like it's not. I mean, just Pacheco just looks like to be the guy that's actually the better fit for what the Chiefs are doing. I mean, it's no different at the wide receiver position. If sometimes it's just not going to fit, or may not work, or they got to work toward making something work. I mean,
and I thought Scott Moore was perfect for this offense. Like he is the prototypical Andy Reid wide receiver to me. Like he likes those 5'10", 5'9" guys who got a little speed to them, who can run, pretty good routes. You know what I'm saying? Like he likes those guys. Like I thought Sky had a lot of people comparing to Julian Edelman. I thought his ceiling could be like a Jeremy Maclin. Like that's what I see in Sky. Like I can see him being like a Jeremy Maclin type receiver. Runs good routes, has a little speed to him. But for whatever, it's early. Like I said, it's early. You know what I'm saying? We could be playoff time, and Sky Moore could be balling out his ass and doing his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him succeed. I want to see him at least get 5 catches for 60 yards. I'll take that.
Right.
I will take
I would
that.
too.
I don't think he's had a game. I don't think he's had a game where he's had over two catches.
Yeah,
I don't.
He had like three or four
In the opener?
No, in the Jacksonville game, I think he had 3.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
And then what was the next game after that?
Not the Jets.
Not the Jets, but it was another game. He had a couple more catches.
Come on, too.
The Bears game. He had like 4 catches in the Bears game.
We can throw the Bears game out. That don't count. I mean, that was trash. That was trash.
Come on, man. Like, got to throw him a bone. He still got to go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? We be sitting here like, oh, he couldn't get open against the Bears. There's something wrong.
But I don't know. Do we live in a world of delusion when it comes to them? Because we have these delusions that they can score all these points, but when you break it down, you think about it like, okay, Buffalo game don't count. The next big game was Cincy. I think they only lost by 7, maybe 3. I can't remember. But those games have all been close. The scores haven't been through the roof. No, you know what I mean? Right. Like we have this delusion that the Chiefs are scoring 30-plus points, and if they haven't done that for like 2 years now. You know what I mean? They haven't been that team since Reek left. They've been more. Let's time manage and score when we can.
Yeah,
right. I would also say it's a testament. I think we spoke about this last week that these defenses have caught up to these offenses.
Yeah,
and these defensive coordinators
talk to them.
Have been planning against these offenses where you don't see a lot. Like of course we saw a 70-point game.
Come on,
Denver was just terrible. Denver was terrible.
Preach.
I think they just gave up. I think they just gave it up on their coaching staff. They've given up on Russ. They tired of Russ. And Vance Joseph was just not a good. But the high level, I would say the high level defensive coordinators have stepped it up. And I think they've caught up to these offenses that, and I would say we kind of springboarded in 2018 when Pat first, started. We was just scoring at will. Like we were, I'd say from 2018 to like 2020, it was like nothing to score. It was like, the Chiefs are down by 2, and then it just was like boop, boop, boop. Like, nah, we up by 3 right now. Like, and they do it in less than 5 minutes of the game. Like, you look up, like, damn, how the hell they score so much?
The speed transition is so noticeable now that I mean it's unreal. You look at these linebackers, the speed of a Fred Warner, hell, even the speed of a C.J. Mosley, like Nick Bolton, Willie Gay. Tranquil, like these dudes can move.
Yeah.
So you talking about trying to have success and have time to throw a football to somebody and find somebody open when that speed is right there in your face, just like that. I mean, these defenses, like you said, have caught up.
I think they've caught up, man.
It's a struggle. It truly is a struggle now.
And then add on to the fact that we're working in young, inexperienced wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would look a lot differently if we still had a healthy Juju Smith-Schuster, you know, or we had a Jacoby Myers or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? To be the lead receiver off of Travis, I think this offense will look a lot more cleaner. I just think
that was part of my rant, but yeah.
Go ahead. You want to get your rant on me? No, hold on before you get your rant.
No, you got to finish your take.
Let me do my hot take.
Yeah.
Are we sure MVS is better than Justin Watson? Are we sure?
I mean, since you asking, no.
Or is it just because MVS makes more than Justin Watson in that contract? Is why they keep trotting him out there.
Bingo.
I ain't sure.
Bingo.
Because they do.
They give us all the routes.
They give us the same product, and I can. And I think that Jay Watt is more reliable. And you know how I feel about Justin Watson. He don't fight for nothing.
Yeah.
I felt like on that one play where Pat tried to throw him down the finale. I think Pat kind of held the ball a little bit too long. He should probably threw it quicker. But it was the two defenders on Justin. Like the safety came over and almost picked it off. But had Jay Watt stopped and like helped his quarterback out a little bit, maybe he would have caught the ball. But
it's always been his issue. See.
Other than that, are we sure that MVS is better than Justin Watson? Are we sure?
I would say no. That's just me though. That's my personal opinion.
Like
MVS don't make no plays.
I'm almost on board of maybe we trade him.
Whoa. Trade MVS?
Yeah.
To who?
Somebody
who's
who needs
be
wide
stupid
receiver
enough to take him.
Somebody
you got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off. Ain't nobody gonna want to take him.
Somebody gonna take him.
Then we need to package Clyde. We need to sweeten the pot and package Clyde in there too.
Go with him too.
You know what I'm saying? They can take both of them. Yeah, take both of them. Yeah, go ahead on.
Can I get a Kareem was white one time on this damn show? Hell no.
Y'all got it. Go ahead and tell them you want to.
I will never, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
I'm thinking it, but I ain't telling you it.
No. Hell, he don't know how to act.
Nope. You don't know how to take praise.
Nobody finna do that. No.
Nope. Your head to get all big, then you're gonna be all on the timeline. Arrowhead Chief Podcast finally came around.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we ain't having that, Joe. Not on this show. Not on this show, Joe. Go somebody else's show and get your praise on, but not over here.
Don't do him. Tell him, Chris.
We still love you, Joe. We still love you.
Oh yeah, he that dude.
He said, "I hate y'all." He said, "I hate y'all." Woo! Nah, but yeah, that's just a question. It's MVS better than just. Are we sure?
No, you're not lying.
I don't think we are.
I just don't see what a separation is where you can say that MVS is. I just don't see it.
Is it because he plays Call of Duty with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes? Is it because he's good at Call of Duty? I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying. People. All right, Clarence, you can rant. Get your rant on, sir. If you're still there.
Sorry, having a little bit of lunch. Huh?
I was about to say, you like you was prosing a little bit there.
Oh. Okay. Running backs still matter. They still matter.
Yeah.
And they still matter. I'm tired of everybody thinking that offenses can move the football without running the ball. Because guess what? Running backs still matter. You look at that situation in New York. First it was Saquon, right? It was Saquon. Then you pivot and you go to Daniel Jones. Offense don't move. It's not moving because Saquon's not there. Saquon accounted for so much of that offense.
Yeah.
Look at the coach. Coach pay Jonathan Taylor.
Shout out
And Zach
Jonathan
Moss
Taylor
has a
getting his money.
day. You know what I'm
Zach
saying?
Moss been balling
Zach
though.
Moss has a day.
Zach Moss been balling though. He got like
He finally showed up because when he was in Buffalo, he didn't do nothing.
Personally, if I was coach, I'd have just traded Jonathan Taylor and stuck with Zach Moss. That is me. I wouldn't even care.
They gave him his bag.
I'm not saying Zach Moss is Jonathan Taylor.
Right. Right.
Come on, man. He's leading.
Right.
He's up there with the top rushing yards. So.
But for these owners to push this narrative that the value of these backs don't matter, we don't have to pay them because we can go find another one next year in the draft. You're not going to find that in the draft. You're not going to find Jonathan Taylor. You're not going to find Saquon.
Or McCaffrey.
In the draft next year. Or McCaffrey.
It's not even close.
These owners got to stop this, pushing this narrative to the point where fans are like, yeah, you're right. Running backs really are, they replaceable at the drop of a dime. You mean tell me you can replace Derrick Henry? You can replace that? You can replace that speed, Raheem Mostert and homeboy in Miami. You can replace that just like that. Just like that. That speed is a major problem.
Bijan Robinson is just ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Y'all got to stop this. Running backs don't mean shit. You can go and replace them. Like, y'all got to stop this shit. Because this is just disgusting. This is truly disgusting. And the team that you follow, they're dealing with defenses that have improved, and the only way for them to crack that code is who? Through 10. Through Pacheco.
Not 25.
Not hell no. He can go. Listen here. When you package MVS, package his ass too, please. I'm done.
Pacheco,
no more.
Pacheco just he provides that aggressive burst that you're looking for that just not any other back that the Chiefs can do right now.
And you got to be able to punk a defense.
You damn right. I said something about Bijan Robinson. The kid is amazing. I never said he wasn't. No time that I say he was not.
Oh, because he thought Bijan was coming to Kansas, man.
Which we knew wouldn't happen.
It's not going to happen.
We told you, man. But you don't be listening.
Don't get me wrong. Bijan is an exciting player to watch playing for Atlanta. He's probably the only exciting thing about let's go and watching Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. But, right.
Who is that?
But, there's still value in the running backs, clearly.
These owners got to pay these motherfuckers this offseason and not be on that bullshit. Like, Saquon could have been back like 3 weeks ago. For real. But he like, what the fuck am I coming back for?
Not to this
for
shit.
What? You know what I'm saying?
Not this dude throwing the football.
Y'all paid a lineman and a quarterback, and y'all ain't give me nothing. Y'all said, fuck me. So why would he come back to that? When's the last time you heard Austin Eckler's name?
He's messing up my fantasy.
Okay. But you know why? Because he like, damn this. First little injury, I'm out, man. I ain't come back till I'm 100%. Y'all think of swim without me because it's clearly fuck me, so it's got to be fuck you.
Eckler's value is huge to the Chargers. I don't care. Say how you can say whatever you want to.
You see what they look like. You see what they look like without them. You barely beat a Raiders team. Come on.
And now they're without Mike Williams, so you're putting the pressure on.
Come on, man. Quentin Jefferson Johnson, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
homeboy from Texas Tech. And Palmer been balling for them.
And an age Keenan Allen, which we don't know can stay healthy.
Yeah, they lose Keenan Allen, it's over.
Exactly.
They lose Keenan Allen, it's over. They might as well just cancel. They might as well just get ready for Christmas.
And no Austin Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
That's perspective.
They
That's
better start
perspective.
booking their flights for Hawaii right now.
Yeah, that's
Bahamas,
perspective.
whatever.
Them not
When
having
you don't
Eckler is a big
respect the
deal.
run, when you can't run the football, you got problems.
Yeah, Eckler, he's just a bruiser. He'll run you over. He'll do everything you ask. He'll catch a ball at the backfield. He'll throw out a good block. He'll get you a 5-yard run in the critical moments. But I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know.
Stay out there. That's it.
No, he's just sitting there. I'm gonna wait until I'm 100%. I'm not playing for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't want to pay me. So if I get hurt, I'm asked out.
Yep.
They won't pay him.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Why the Bengals back? What kind of stupid take is that? Never mind. I'm watching TV at the same time as this.
Who said that? Because they beat the Cardinals?
It's a question on speak right now. They're showing.
Show. Can they stay in that show?
It said they're talking about Chase's take saying we've taken another step to who we really are. You don't take a step in who you really are against a bottom feeder. You don't do that.
Let me see them do that against Ravens or somebody.
You supposed to do that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how they look next week. Who they play next week? Find out who they play next week. But we talking about the AFC anyway. Chiefs are right back on.
They play Seattle. They play Seattle. They ain't no easy. They ain't no easy
win. They ain't no easy win. Nope. Ain't easy win. We'll see. But the Chiefs are back on top of the AFC. They are the number one. It's playoff. You know how they do. Playoffs will start today. They be the number one seed. So
it was like that last week. It didn't matter.
Yeah. So they are the number one seed. Even with all our struggles, we're still at the top of the AFC people. So you guys need to take that in consideration. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with all our struggles, we're still at the top. And all it is, we could just get better.
It's not the same old story.
Give the ball to Sky Moore. But yeah, all teams, I feel like all teams have their flaws. Miami, you know, they can score with the best of them. Their defense ain't all that great. It ain't vaunted. Now, maybe when they get Jalen Ramsey back, we might have a different discussion. But their pass rushers and all that crazy. They just lost Arcane. He's on the IR now. He's out for 4 games now. So we'll see how that affects their running game.
They still got Mostert.
Yeah, still got Mostert. But, you know, the young rookie was coming along.
He was, but, you know, typically I've seen that, you know, they have that running back. I mean, I've heard it in recent years. They'll have that one running back. Some of them I even completely forgot. That's just how quickly they move off of running backs nowadays.
Yeah,
like, okay,
sure.
like, oh, this one had a good 2-3 games, and all of a sudden you don't hear from them weeks 4 through about 15, 16, or the season is over. It's typically how it goes. I just think even with the AFC, the most interesting thing is just pretty much almost seems like a carousel. I'm not gonna say without the Chiefs necessarily, but you know, people always want to put somebody in front of the Chiefs, point blank period. That's just how it's been the last 2-3 weeks, I would say. Miami beat Denver they hung up 70 points. They're the new Chiefs. Then they turn around and lose to Buffalo, and then Buffalo, they're the team. They put up 40 some odd points, you know, blowing them out by 20 some odd points in 3 straight games. And then they turn around, they flop, and then all of a sudden, they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what am I supposed to do with that now? I'm supposed to just loop around? Well, the Chiefs beat the Jaguars in week 2 in Jacksonville. I mean, it's just the bottom line here. It is what it is. It's the same old story.
Well, I'll say this about the AFC. Even with all our struggles on offense, there's nobody in the AFC that scares me.
No. I think the question is, I think even despite, you know, we talk about, you know, we can make the debate as far as who is the top dog of the AFC and whatever. You can look at the numbers. I think the question is, who is the most disappointing coming out and after these past 5 weeks? 5 weeks. I think that's the question.
It's got to be Cincinnati.
You can talk about Cincinnati.
I would
You
say
got
even though they just won, I would say Jacksonville.
yeah.
Jacksonville has not looked like the team that everybody thought they was gonna be. Like
Mm-hmm.
they beat Buffalo, but I put that more so on Jacksonville just played in London the week before. So they
Yeah,
stayed
they
out
stayed
there.
there.
Their bodies was, used to being in that time zone. Buffalo, you could tell when they got in that game, they was not ready. And then they
And,
until the fourth quarter when they started warming up, that's when they kind of started getting back to being Buffalo, and it was too late by that time.
and even so, the Buffalo defense, it was slowly getting decimated as the
Yeah,
game went on
they was
because
falling
they
like flies.
they
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 lost Matt Milano. They
he out with a broken leg,
mhm,
and then what's his name? He didn't get as much playing time as we were expecting him with Von Miller. I mean, he's trying to get acclimated back into the defense.
right,
It was just nothing but I mean, it was an ugly game for 3 quarters
right.
basically, and then it seemed like Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley finally found what we had been expecting in the previous 4 weeks. That's what it looked like, and then the running game got going with Etienne. He started doing what he needed to do.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like I said, none of these teams are scared. Like, yeah, they got Josh Allen, but I mean, Buffalo sometimes they could be front runners. You know what I'm saying? They beat
Mm-hmm.
bad teams. They're good at beating bad teams. That's
Yep.
one thing I give Buffalo. They will demolish a bad team, but then they'll play somebody on the same level in the same playing field, and then you don't see that vaunted offense that that you've been seeing for the past few weeks. Cincinnati, I guess you could blame it on Burrow's injury issues. Yeah, he couldn't step into his throws. He looks like he's getting healthier, but that offensive line is still bad.
Yep.
Their defense is not as vaunted as it been in these past 2 years. Like I think people have caught up to that defense. So I don't
And
know.
and even so, even looking within their own division enough, that kind of speaks for itself. We
Raiders,
we we said in the very beginning
Chargers,
that
Broncos,
yeah.
they're
No,
all
even
trash.
the AFC North though, we said it was going to be a toss up. I just didn't think it was going to be a toss up that was this ugly this early
Even the Ravens. I know they
because
learning a new offense, but even the
no,
Ravens,
no. It's
they just
actually you know what that the Ravens it's the decision making that got me. If there's anything the Ravens need to be mad about, it's the decisions that they were making in late
yeah.
game situations where they had to get. I'm not sure anybody caught that Miami Hurricanes game the way how
Yeah, I
that
saw
ended.
that. Yeah, I saw
That
that.
was a. I'm like they basically lost this game because this coach couldn't do simple math, and down that Miami game, and then the
Yeah,
Ravens they were
you right, Joe. I will say you're right on that one, Joe.
yeah. And then the Ravens, I did not understand. There was 4th and 1 right before the half. I'm like, they could have
Mhm.
just went in the halftime, took the three, just take the points. I mean,
Right.
especially in a division game, you cannot make those mistakes. And then you got him just throwing a. I'm like, I'm not sure if they thought that somebody jumped off sides, but still, it was the wrong play from the get go. It made no sense.
That and then the drop passes in the end zone. There was
Mm-hmm.
two passes that was dropped that pretty much would have won them the game. They would have beat the Steelers.
The,
And then the
the, the,
Steelers.
the INT was absolutely unnecessary. The
Yeah,
fact they were throwing the ball, they should have been running the clock out. It made no sense. That was
right.
that was a rough one.
And then Steelers, Kenny Pickett doesn't scare you not one bit. He is the liability on that team. Like if Kenny Pickett comes, in the divisional round in the playoffs and beats the Chiefs, we need to reevaluate everything.
But you know what? I'll say this about Pittsburgh. I said we said the big difference between what got Pittsburgh eliminated because they made that late run like we all predicted because Tomlin never has a record below 500, point blank period. That's just how it is.
Mhm.
It was just all he had to do was be somewhere around the 500 mark or not start like what was it like 0-5 or 0-6 what it was last year, and it would have been in the playoffs. Well, they've done that already, but then they've had some hiccups along the way where it's just strange. So it's like it's not clear what Pittsburgh team this is. I mean, we know what their defense is. We just don't know what this offense is with Pickett. We don't know.
Right.
We do not know. So that's a very weird division. You still got. I mean, I don't know what the Ravens are doing. Bengals they're 2 games out already with their divisional losses, so that's critical.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
Browns that's a sideshow that is just
Their
continuously.
defense is great, but Deshaun Watson, we still don't know can he ever get back to being close to anything he used to be with the Texans. Um, I don't know.
I don't see it.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And losing Chubbs, that hurts.
Yeah,
It hurts. He was their best player, and losing that type of running back was bad. So, all right, man. Let's talk about this game on Thursday. We got the Denver Broncos. Um, what do you think on offense we need to do against the Denver Broncos?
well, first of all, the Broncos have arguably the worst defense in the league. As far as you should be able to tear that secondary apart and like just regardless. I would definitely. I mean, regardless, you still want to see balance, though. Obviously, you still want to see Pacheco get going. You want to see Pacheco get going.
Mm,
I thought he's coming off two quality games. I would say that he had 55 and one last week. He had that 100-yard game the week before that. I expect to be somewhere fall in the middle. I mean, it don't have to necessarily be 100, but as long as it's somewhere above 55, and he has that one TD somewhere in there.
mhm.
Um, the agenda for the receiving core still has not changed. We still need to figure out who is that guy. Who's it going to be the receiver that steps up?
Right.
We saw flash of Rasheed Rice. I would like to see more Justin Ross. I think we still have questions there. This is basically the beginning of like really getting themselves going as far as getting this division. I mean, divisional play obviously we all know is critical. They cannot be playing. They cannot play with their food in this game. Let's just
No.
call it for what it is. They cannot do that. We've seen. I mean, Denver almost got away with one earlier this year. It's like against Washington, as a matter of fact, where they threw that Hail Mary, he caught it, and then he just came up short with a 2-point conversion. Blah blah blah,
Right.
whatever. They just cannot fall asleep. Do not fall asleep on this game. The defense is going to be the defense. Just don't let Russell Wilson roll out. I think he's going to be more inclined to run versus throw. I think
Right.
I think last game it kind of like really derail some of his confidence. And when you're going against and I'll say this, going back to back against a Jets defense and then the way the Chiefs defense has performed is not an easy task.
Mm-mm.
So he's going to have his hands full.
I agree. I agree. I agree with everything you said. Get Pop going early. Um, running down his defense's throat, tire him out. By the time the third quarter comes, they huffing and puffing, and hopefully these receivers. That's the key. Is that these receivers are showing progress. Rasheed Rice, I would like to see him with a good 5 to 6 catches, 60 yards, 70 yards. That would be a good productive day. Maybe even get a touchdown. I would like to see Sky Moore get some catches too, man. Like we said, we can give him 4 to 5 touches or catches, 50 to 60 yards. I'm fine with that. I just want to see production from Sky. I just don't want to see him out there getting cardio. You know what I'm saying? Just running routes.
It was a little disheartening to see though when Justin Ross came in there and just looking at
Yeah,
that drive alone, I'm like, does this dude fall into the background? Like this, is it really this bad? It's
that's
like
what I'm
it's.
saying. Like
I'm like,
not
help
one
me.
throw, not one target. Like
I
not
was.
one.
That's what kind of threw me off. I'm like, I'm appreciative we're seeing Justin Ross, but not at the point where we're seeing Sky Moore just completely fade out. I thought that was a very telling drive
Like,
into
bro,
going into the
like
future.
hell in Detroit, he got way more chances. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, man. Like, we got to give my man Scott more revved up, man. I really want to see that kid succeed. So, like I said, I hope we get some Sky Moore, some Justin Ross, get him tuned up. I'm sure we're gonna get some Justin Watson. Whatever MVS can provide, whatever MVS provides, whatever. Um, but yeah, that's what I see. Now, defensively, and I'll start with this one. I want to see this pass rush bounce back because I didn't like the way the pass rush looked against Minnesota. Um, they they left a lot to be desired in that Minnesota game. Luckily, that we have a very good to great secondary. Um, Trent McDuffie and Legarius Sneed are gems, but I want to see more Chris Jones getting home, Karloftis getting home. I want to see Mike Dana keep, doing his thing. Turk Warden. I want to see this defensive line be disruptive, man. That's what I want
I,
to see this week.
I think it's more likely, especially with Bolton coming back. I thought it was a smart
Yeah,
play to keep him out. I mean, it's a short
yeah,
week. It makes the most sense. And like we said, it's a division game. Division games are more important than the non-conference games, point blank,
right,
period. But I
right,
just think with Bolton being inserted back in there, you're going to see people get more back into their roles, and Tranquil going to be in his role, and Bolton going to do
yeah,
what he do, and Willie Gay, and that's going to affect the rotation. And the best way to look at it, this is the last part of the prequel before they get Omenihu back.
right, right. We
So
get a
that's
mini next week. They'll get him revved up. But yeah, defense like with Nick Bolton back, I think one thing we are not that people are discounting, and don't get it twisted, Drew Tranquil is awesome. He is
yeah.
great, especially in pass coverage. He is not, what I'm saying. If you want somebody to step in for Nick Bolton, it's him. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
he did an admirable job. Even in the Jets game, he did really good. He had some catches caught over him, but that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's football. Um, but I thought his game from the Jets game to the Minnesota game was vast improved. Um, but Nick Bolton, I think he can, especially him knowing this defense more than Drew. I think he gets guys in place a little bit more, and I think that he'll help that defensive line, especially if he sees something. Move over to your left, move over to your right. Hey, Chris, go. You saw in the when they do the little sound bites, the mic'd ups. He's like, "Yo, Chris, just get on somebody that you could beat." You know what I'm saying? Like he directs traffic, and and he because he knows that defense inside and out. So I think he'll be do better in getting guys on that defensive line in position to succeed. So getting
It's
Nick Bolton will be a huge gem.
in that defense. The defense is just faster without him. You can tell. I mean, it
Mm-hmm,
seems like they seem like they're a half step slower without him. And granted, what they
mm-hmm,
did was commendable. They did what they need to do,
mm-hmm.
but they're just so much faster because everybody's more so into their roles. We always talked about in the offense, them having defined roles. The defense has the same thing. It's no different. They just fly and they just look faster and they just do what they need to do when
Right.
everybody's in their role in place and gets to rolling. I think you get one of those you're getting your pieces back and everything. You didn't have Chris Jones for the first two, then you had Bolton missed for the last two. So now you're going to
Mm-hmm.
start getting in. Everybody's going to start getting into those places because now you're starting to get people healthy. It's still a long season. Things happen, so it's gonna be a good way to be able to see where they are, is they can how we can the expectations we have when a mini here returning next week.
Right, right, for sure. What are the players you want to watch?
Oof, players to watch. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Ross got a little bit more play this week at all. So I'm gonna throw him in that mix. I would not be surprised he got me. It may be the same number of targets, but I think he'll make the most of it. I mean, 2 out of 4. I mean, you got 2 catches and you just effectively do what you need to do. But I think he's going to be instrumental somehow in this game. I really do, in a big way. I mean, if there's a game to do it with this terrible Denver defense. This is the game to do it.
Right.
And then defensive wise, got Bolton back. Chris Jones. You know what? I think Karloftis is the wild card this week. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna have that breakout game this week. I think he's gonna come and have like 2 sacks or something like that, somewhere in there, in that
Right.
ballpark.
Yeah. I like those. Players to watch. I'm gonna say Sky Moore. That's my player to watch this week. Sky Moore. Come on, Pat. Come on, Andy. Come on, Matt. Help my man out, man. He's throwing the football, man. Pat, throwing the ball, man. He be open sometimes, man. You can't just tear him down and then go to the double coverage. Throwing the ball, man. Don't do Sky like that. He came to all the off-season programs. He went to Texas for you, Pat. He went to Texas to get better. Help him out, man. And defensively, I'm gonna stick with the secondary, man. See this the Trent McDuffie, and L'Jarius Sneed, man. Let's go.
Hold Jerry
Best
Judy
tandem in
down.
the league right now. I don't want to hear nothing about Seattle. Those kids is nice. They good, but they ain't this.
Keep
They
keep
ain't
Jerry
this.
keep Jerry Judy contained.
Lock him up.
Mm-hmm. Because
Lock him up.
even with the Broncos, I'm struggling to even find a key player on their team. Just looking like who scares me on that team. I'm struggling.
He said I'm on Sky's bumper. I'm not on Sky's bumper. I'm on the Chiefs bumper about Sky more. They don't trust him, Joe. They ain't showing them no love, man.
There's just nobody really on Denver that actually just scares me. Like back in the day.
I mean, I guess you can watch Jerry Judy. That's about it. Courtland Sutherland doesn't scare me whatsoever. I don't know if because the running back but Javonte Williams didn't play last Sunday, so I don't know if they're just gonna play him this week because it was a quick turnaround. So maybe they saved him for this week. I probably wouldn't be surprised if he did play, but that'd be somebody to watch to see how he looks.
And that's a maybe. It's just more so. I'm looking from a consistency point of view. I mean, there's just something like in Denver. I mean, Judy maybe the most consistent that I've seen on that team. But
and then defensively, Pat Surtain second. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And he had that late pick, I think, last game on another foolish throw that made absolutely no sense. I guess I saw a lot of foolish throws last week in the way the game ended, but we'll see how that goes. You started by saying you off the
I did
sky.
say that. You're right, Joe. I did say that, but for my reasoning, it wasn't all because of him. It's because of the team. They don't trust him, man. They got him out there running wind sprints. He's doing cardio.
I think probably after week that the second time when they play Denver, we'll have more of an idea because then you'll be going into the break and then you'll have an idea.
I know.
And then that's before you get into the nitty gritty when you start to deal with Miami and all that stuff. That's just what all this. That's what these 4 games are. You're preparing for seeing what that's going to look like.
What's your big matchup?
Is there a matchup?
These receivers versus secondary. That's my matchup.
Can I be honest? The matchup is just Pat versus himself right now. Just based off of recent play.
I like that.
The reason why I say that is just because there's certain throws that we know he's capable of making, and he'll hesitate. I just think with Pat, if he goes out and does what he's supposed to do, he should have at least 300 plus. So I'm just going to say himself. That's the matchup of there's no other matchup you can really throw out there. I'm not scared. I wouldn't say the Chiefs should be scared as far as with this defense and the defense, as far as, they're going to do what they're going to do. And Russ going to, cook, burn. I don't know what he's going to do. Whatever. He is what he is. Right. But it's just Pat versus Pat in this situation. True. Which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the 4 touchdown, 300-yard Pat? Kelsey gets 2 touchdowns. An unknown person, most likely probably Watson knowing him, he gets that touchdown. Pacheco or McKinnon out the backfield. I don't know. But this game is more so just Pat versus Pat. It's a home game, short week. These are the games that he just eats off of. Pat versus Pat.
No, you're right. That's a good one. That is a very good one. And Andy Reid in his play calling sheet.
Third and ones, do not debacle.
Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Whoever you think calling plays.
Yeah. Unload the chamber and get him out by the 3rd quarter. That's what it is. I think Sky flirted with Brittany in Texas.
Jesus, Joe. Lead the narrative somewhere else, man. You didn't hear that here. You didn't hear that here. All right, man. Give me a score prediction.
I think Pat lets loose in this one. I think it's going to be 31-10.
Okay. Going with the 30 burger.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm calling Pat out. It just has to be. I'm not a fan of.
I'm going 35-17 Chiefs.
That 17 is a garbage touchdown. Yep. It has to be.
That's exactly what it is. Might be a Blaine Gabbert pick six.
Sad, but you might be right. It no, because I'll tell you a true story. I sure did when they were playing the Bears and they were talking about inserting the and they were ready to insert the backups in the end game they had like at 38. I said I'm going the other way. Blaine Gabbert gonna do something stupid, and before I knew it, I was right. I mean the
second interception was on Rasheed Rice. That wasn't on him. That first one.
Yeah, that's just typical him. 38-13, Joe.
Okay.
I ain't mad at that.
I like these. I like this. I like this confidence that we're gonna hit that 30 mark because we haven't hit it yet.
It's just Pat got a ball out.
Other than the Bears game, but that don't count. That don't count.
Pat just looked like he holding back. That's just what it just seemed like the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we sick of it.
I think he's holding back too.
It's like he's trying to be modest. I don't want to win the MVP this year.
Yeah, let's give it to some other guy this year. Let's say Josh Allen winning or Christian McCaffrey.
It's probably gonna be. I mean, truth be told, it should be McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey's in the league. McCaffrey's in the league right now.
It's not a quarterback race right now.
Can we talk about 49ers, man?
Man, go ahead. They basically. I mean, I'm gonna take a page out of Ty's playbook. They made Dallas look like a bunch of frauds.
Well, Cardinals did that already.
They took it to the highest level though on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, that was what did it for me. And then Dak had absolutely no answer. I mean, shout out to Stephen A. Smith. You know, he got his bet and everything. He said he called the 2 picks and he actually threw 3. But Dallas just looked like absolutely lost. There was 54 frauds. I'm not even including the coaching staff because Mike McCarthy just looked absolutely lost in how to manage that game.
Yeah,
that was terrible. But you know, it doesn't take away credit. I mean, Purdy's doing his thing. He ain't lost the game being a starter. I mean, I'm just missing the Philadelphia game. I mean, I think Tua or Tyreek. I mean, Tua, what he showed me with Buffalo.
Yeah, that kind of hurt him.
That
Buffalo game hurt him to me. If he had lost and still balled out in that Buffalo game, like if they had put up like at least 30-something points and still lost, then I would have been like, all right, he's still there. The offense did whatever they did, it was just the defense. But to put up 20 points, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He fell flat on his face on that one.
Nah, bruh.
Every quarterback has one of those games, but I don't know, just something about that one.
I think it's Christian McCaffrey, and then it's a wide margin, and then it's, I guess, Josh Allen. I guess
that's a big maybe.
And even that, it might be Brock Purdy.
You could throw Purdy in there, and Jalen Hurts is doing doing enough to. I mean, I still don't feel like they found his stride yet.
Me neither, because they're still learning that all. They're still like working out the particulars in that offense. It's the same offense, but it's a different coordinator. So
they playing bully ball once they get a league. That's all they're doing. But there's bully ball, and then they're just flat out punking teams, and that's what the 49ers do. They just flat out punking teams.
But look, yes, we see the 49ers do this in the beginning of every season. I just think the 49ers, their thing is health. If they can stay healthy, they're going to the Super Bowl. If they can't stay healthy, it's going to be the same repeat thing. So that's the thing. I am interested to see when they play the Eagles because that's going to be a good game.
That's going to be the only game I probably see. I mean, I think I was listening to a radio show and they were talking about find the loss for the 49ers and where they would be. And I'm truth be told, I'm not saying they're going to run the table now, but depending on how they play Philly, if they do like they did Dallas or anywhere near like that, they might run the table for the season. Don't get me wrong. I like what Seattle's doing, but they are not on a level. No, it's not even close.
Nope. And hey, the Rams gave him a little bit of push because that offense is just good. They just met an Eagles team that was just better than them. But that Rams offense, them receivers they got.
Nakua, yeah.
Cooper Kupp is back. He came back right in and balled out. You got
Mhm.
Nakua, you got Tutu Atwell, like Curran Williams is pretty good at running back. Like they're pretty good. Rams is gonna be scrappy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams are like the 7th seed. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's a strong possibility. I could see that. They could
What's up,
overtake that stuff.
Christine?
Health is wealth. Yep, got
Yes.
that right.
I hear you. All
Yeah,
right, man.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Just look. I'm looking at the 49ers schedule right now.
I think they slip up one against somebody in their division. The division games are just wonky and weird, and they always just
If
come down to
if they sit out versus the Rams, which is a possibility. I mean, they could have that. I mean, that's more so of a decision. That's more of a decision.
Even with Seattle, when they play them in Seattle, that's not going to be an easy game.
No,
because
it's kind of set up that way though, because it's actually a Thursday night game too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
Thursday in Seattle, that crowd's going to be crazy.
Then they play, and then it's a back-to-back. I mean, it could get caught on the look-ahead game with the Eagles. Yeah.
Oh, did they play them right before the Eagles? Oh yeah, they might lose that game. They definitely might lose that game. I could see that. The 49ers definitely might lose against the Seahawks because it's a look-ahead game. They looking at the Eagles because the Eagles are their competition right now.
Look-ahead game and their back-to-back road games.
Oh yeah, yep. Mark it here. You heard it here on Arrowhead's Cheap Podcast. Put all your money on the Seahawks. Put all your money on the Seahawks in that game. Because I'm telling you right now, the 49ers probably going to lose that game. Because they're going to be looking ahead to the Eagles.
It's kind of weird how they got that 3
Seattle. That's not going to be easy.
But it's very weird though how they got these schedules, because like we said, we talked about, we hated the way that Denver, was set up against the Chiefs, 2 times within 3 weeks. They did the exact same thing with in their schedule. They got they play 49ers, go play Seattle, then they play the Eagles, and then they play Seattle again in a 3-week span.
Jeez.
I'm like, help me make sense of that. Why in the world would y'all do that?
Yeah, this is the first time we played like Broncos, Chargers, Broncos. Like, that's weird.
I'm like, why don't you just put them? Why don't you just put all the division games? What you got them?
You should just put the Raiders right after that.
Right. Just put Raiders, and get it over with.
Just get out of the way.
My goodness.
Let's have this division wrapped up by Thanksgiving again.
Right. Might as well. The way they
probably will anyway.
The rate this going, this division.
We probably will anyway.
Because that margin can open up very quickly.
AFC West do better. Raiders do better. Denver do better.
We've always had expectations where the West is supposed to get better and stuff like that. I did not believe the Raiders were going to be anything. I mean, I knew it right out the gate. I mean, this is basically sweepstakes for Caleb. If he even comes out with the way that whole NIL thing works out.
Well, true.
Who said that? It wasn't me.
No, I never said that. I said the 49ers win despite of him.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that. They won despite of him. You got all them weapons and all that defense. You better win. If they had Patrick Mahomes, they go undefeated. If the 49ers had Patrick Mahomes, they would be undefeated.
For 2 years.
They would smoke through the league. It wouldn't even be close. The Super Bowl would be a blowout.
It would just be, forget about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be fair. And before we leave, all you fans out there crying about these calls, deal with it.
Oh yeah, you talking about? Yeah, I think I seen it on. I was scrolling through TikTok, and all I saw was complaints about, who was it? Snead taking his helmet off.
Okay, we still would have had the ball.
And basically,
Still
and
had the
just
ball.
and Justin Watson's questionable catch, but it's not
That was
questionable though.
catch. It was a
I mean,
catch.
there's a reason why they put them little black pellets in the ground. Did you see him flying up?
Yes,
What does that mean?
it was a catch. The
Case
Legarius,
closed.
that Legarius sneak, that wasn't a pass interference. The ball
No,
wasn't even catchable.
no.
Kirk
It was,
Cousins didn't even throw it in the vicinity of
it was
Addison.
it was underthrown. Way underthrown.
Like they were fighting. It was more so hand fighting. It wasn't really hand fighting. They was holding each other. They had their hands on each other.
But you know what? It for the Vikings to make it simple, plain, and stupid, it's kind of come back to haunt them. Because last year in one score games, they were 11-0.
Yeah,
Even Colin on his show said there's no way they're doing that again. And it's coming to show. It's not likely.
yeah.
You took advantage of
They
the
they
one score game, but
they need
not
to
this
just go
year.
ahead, and trade Kirk Cousins.
I can see that though. I still believe he's gonna get traded somewhere.
Trade Kirk Cousins.
Send him back to Washington.
That wouldn't be bad.
Ship him back. Why not?
They
He's
be
from
playoff contenders for sure.
I still have him in that mix. I still do. I just think I think probably the only thing that's well, two things that's holding him back. One is the coach,
Yeah,
and two, I'm just not a believer in Hal. I'm just not. You got
he's
all the weapons.
inconsistent. He's inconsistent. One minute he looked like he's progressing, and then the next minute he looks like he's taking a step back. So
It's just they got a lot of they got them weapons though. That's what I'm looking at from that viewpoint. I'm like they got McLaughlin, they got running backs, they got docs. I just have a hard time registering a team that that stack. I'm not saying they stacked the stack like a 49ers stack now, but they
no,
should be playoff contenders.
of course,
They
yeah, they
should
should
be.
be. They should challenge Dallas in that division,
Hmm.
especially with that defense. They got a good That defensive line is loaded.
And even so, I know they kind of got question marks as far as with Chase and everything, but I think with the under the right coach, I think that'll determine if he stays or goes.
Yeah,
That's just what I think.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man, let's go ahead and end this thing.
Yep.
You look down at the bottom, you'll see the link to the locker room access to the Every Morning Quarterback emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go there, it's the locker room access of all the podcasts under the Every Morning Quarterback umbrella. They got a 49ers one, they have a Patriots one, they have a Jets one, and
Cancel the. They need to cancel the Patriots one. I'm gonna listen to last. I'm gonna listen to the most recent ones to amuse myself.
yeah, they're terrible. And they have our podcast, Arrowhead Cheap Podcast. You click on the banner, you'll see a lot of episodes from the past to the recent ones. Go ahead and check us out. Go ahead and check out their podcast where they talk about everything league wide. They talk about college football and they give you betting tips for the week. So go ahead and check them out. Follow them on Twitter and all social media platforms at EMQ Podcast. Shout out to them over there at Every Morning Quarterback. Subscribe to their YouTube channel too. And whatever streaming platform you use, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, whatever you use to listen to your podcast, the Arrowhead Cheap Podcast is on there. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, Twitch, on all of them. Follow us. We'll follow you back because our motto is we're not Hollywood. I'm sure Joe has put it in the comments. We're Hollywood.
Yep, there it is. Right on time.
But we're not Hollywood. We're fans just like y'all. So hit us up, man. Give us critiques. Give us feedback. Give us Q&A questions, topics, whatever you want us to talk about as far as the Chiefs go. Or something you might want us to touch a little bit on in the NFL. Hit us up, man. We'll talk about it if it's within reason. And remember, talk to us nice and normal, or I will send Clarence to slap you. He will do it. No, I'm just playing. But no, but for real, hit us up, man. Follow us. That right there. AH Chief Podcast. Follow us. Follow us, man. Right there. All right, y'all. We got Thursday night football with the Broncos. We will have another episode Saturday to recap that game. So see y'all then. Until then, we are gone.